Scene 23, late sophomore year. Late sophomore year came with the kind of pressure you couldn't see but felt everywhere. Spring tried to show up early, but the winter just wasn't done with us yet. Days stretched just long enough to give you hope, then snap back cold by night. It felt like the year was asking questions faster than anybody could answer them. Virginia and I were slipping into a pattern that didn't belong to either of us. We still talked and saw each other, but it took effort now. I'm talking about real planning. If we didn't set it up ahead of time, it didn't happen. Sometimes it didn't happen even when we did set it up. When we were together, it was quiet in a way that wasn't peaceful. A lot less laughing, a lot more catching up. She would tell me about work drama, co-workers twice her age complaining about their lives. I'd tell her about school stuff that I could tell she really didn't care about. We were still close, but closeness was starting to feel like something we had to create instead of something that just existed. One night she said, "You ever felt like you already know how something ends, but you still walking it out anyway?" I didn't answer right away, not because I didn't know, but because I did. Sometimes I said. She nodded like that was enough. We didn't bring it up again. It felt like we both knew the inevitable was calling, even though neither one of us wanted to be the one to acknowledge the fact. One day, Mitch, CeeLo, and I linked up after school. This in itself was a rarity because our schedules never really lined up with Mitch always having practice. As we sat on CeeLo porch smoking and reflecting on what sophomore year had brought into our lives, Virginia pulled up. The fella spoke and told her it's been a long time. She always got along with the fam, and they genuinely liked Virginia. She asked could we step down to the corner and talk in private. I walked her down the street. "So what's good, love? What do I owe for this surprise?" Soon as she turned toward me, I saw it clear as day. Not anger, not doubt, just a made decision. "Ace, this conversation is really hard for—" "I know what it is," I said as I interrupted her. She looked down at the pavement like she needed a second to stand still. "I don't want to let you go," she said. "I know you've been feeling the distance. It's like we in two different worlds now, and I care about you too much to keep pretending that that's not real." The word world sat between us. I nodded as I felt my chest getting tight, but not surprised. We had been walking toward this outcome for months. "I don't want you halfway," she added, "and I can't give you my all with the way things have been going." "I know," I said again. She was right. I had been feeling this coming for a while now, but I didn't expect it to hurt this much. She stepped forward and kissed me on my cheek. "Don't ever forget about me, Ace." "There's no way I could," I told her. "You always gonna have a piece of my heart." She held me for a second longer than usual, then pulled away. I watched her drive off until her tail lights disappeared as she made the left at the stop sign on Linden Street. As I got back to the porch, Mitch and CeeLo asked how everything was going with us. I let them know that we had just broke up. Mitch passed me the L and told me to kill it since I missed most of it while Virginia and I was talking. Funny how fast shit changes. We were all just having fun last summer. Now it seems like we living a whole different life, said Mitch. As he finished talking, Tanya and Erica came walking from the other direction. They could tell something was off before we even said anything. Not because of what we looked like, but because what we weren't doing. Nobody was joking. Nobody was talking over each other. Just a quiet sitting on the porch like we were waiting for something that already passed. Tanya looked at Mitch first. "You good?" Mitch nodded. Yeah, that was enough for her. She sat down next to him, but her eyes still moved between us, reading the room. Erica wasn't as patient. She looked straight at me. Where Virginia at? I shrugged slightly. She just left. Erica tilted her head a little. That's it? CeeLo glanced at me, then back at her. They just broke up. He said it simple. No build up, no softness. Erica's expression didn't change much, but her eyes sharpened just a little. Oh, she said. Tanya looked at me now. You okay? I nodded, even though I wasn't sure what okay meant just yet. I'm straight. Mitch leaned back in his chair looking toward the street. That shit be like that sometimes, he said. You don't even do nothing wrong. It just stopped fitting. For a few minutes, we all sat there, but it didn't feel like before. It felt like everybody was quietly checking their own situation without saying it out loud. Erica broke the silence. You knew it was coming? She wasn't just asking me. She was asking for the idea of it. Yeah, I said. We both did. She nodded slowly, like the answer mattered. Then she leaned back against CeeLo again. But it wasn't the same lean as before. Now it looked like she was thinking. CeeLo lit another L, took a pull, then passed it. Shit changing for everybody, he said. Mitch let out a breath through his nose. Yeah, just at different speeds. That line hung there because it was true. Too true. I looked around the porch. Mitch had Tanya, CeeLo had Erica, and me, I had space. The space wasn't emptiness. It felt like the first step towards something I hadn't even named yet. After a while, Frankie's name came up naturally. Mitch was the one who brought it up. Your man different, he said, looking at me. I knew what he meant. Yeah, I replied, he is. CeeLo didn't say anything at first. Then finally, he moved like he used to it, like he already knew that was coming. That was the closest thing to acknowledgement he was going to give. Erica glanced at him. You trust him? CeeLo took his time answering. I trust what I saw. That wasn't a yes, but it wasn't a no either. The street lights flicked on one by one while nobody rushed to leave. Nobody had anywhere more important to be, but it felt like we were all sitting at the edge of something. For the first time since Virginia pulled off, I felt it clearly. Losing her didn't just create space, it created choice. Chapter 6, Junior Year. Scene 24, Summer before junior year. This was it, the summer before junior year. Out of all the summers I could remember, this was the one I had been waiting on. For the first time, everybody was finally going to be old enough to drive. It felt like freedom was right there in front of us. Mitch and CeeLo got their licenses before school let out because their birthdays fell during the school year. Frankie got his soon as summer hit since his birthday was June 6th. As always, I was stuck waiting until August. At first, I wasn't tripping. Everybody else having their licenses meant I'd still get plenty of practice behind the wheel. Or so I thought. Whenever it came to Mitch and CeeLo, the rules were simple. If they got access to a vehicle, nobody else was driving it. Knowing Aunt Jackie and cousin Angie, if those rules got broken, it would be a long time before either one of them touched another set of keys. They'd probably buy their own cars before getting permission again. Frankie was a different story. For his birthday, their parents gave him their old truck and upgraded themselves. a black 1992 Chevy Blazer. In true Frankie fashion, he wasted no time making this his own. The spare tire cover on the back had the spray painted Wu Tang logo. He had also landed a job at Best Buy that summer, which meant employee discounts. By the second week of June, he had installed two 12-inch subs, a new head unit, and upgraded speakers throughout the truck. This thing sounded ridiculous. By the time I linked up with him on the night of his birthday, it was safe to say he was killing shit. I heard the bass before I saw the blazer. Wu Tang rattling out the windows of the corner store as Frankie pulled up. The truck wasn't new, but the way he sat behind the wheel made it look brand new. I climbed in. Damn, cuz, I said, you ain't waste no time. Frankie laughed. Why wait? He turned the volume up and the whole truck shook. We rode around town for a little while looking for something to get into before making our first stop at Mitch's house. As soon as we got out, Mitch's eyes got big. Damn, Frankie, you riding fresh, I see. You already know. Frankie opened the driver's side door and let Mitch check out everything. This joint is tough, Mitch said, running his hand across the dashboard. Listen to this. Frankie cranked the system. The bass hit so hard it felt like somebody punched you in your chest. Mitch started laughing. Oh yeah, we riding out all summer. We all laughed because we knew he was right. For the first time, one of us had real transportation. Our world had just opened up a little bit more. So what we getting into tonight, Mitch asked. No solid plans, Frankie replied. I'm with whatever. Mitch nodded. Y'all know they just opened up Funscape, right? Funscape, I asked. Frankie looked just as confused as I was. What the hell is Funscape? It's a new spot up Concord Pike past the mall, Mitch explained. Arcade, movie theater, all types of shit. That actually sound kinda dope, Frankie said. Y'all trying to check it out? For sure, I replied. What about C? Mitch looked toward the front door. Let me go throw some clothes on and I'll call him while I'm inside. Bet. While Mitch got dressed, Frankie and I rode to Wawa for drinks. The whole ride we kept talking about how different everything felt now. No more waiting on parents for rides. No more begging somebody older to take us somewhere. If we wanted to go somewhere, we could just go. At 15 and 16 years old, that felt like the closest thing to freedom. When we got back, Mitch was already standing on the porch waiting. He climbed in the back seat. C said he'll meet us up there. He got his mom car tonight, too. Frankie pulled away from the curb and headed toward Concord Pike. The sun was starting to set, music was playing, and junior year was about to change everything.